Welcome back to ancient Chicago. If you saw the last video, you saw that I unexpectedly found several new tools at an archaeological site that I discovered here in the city. Again, I'm not telling you where it is. If you didn't see the last video, for one thing, like and subscribe and then go watch it. Now, what I explained in that video is that when you find archaeological stuff of any kind, you don't keep it. It's catch and release only, okay? Catch and release. Find it so that you can mark it on a map and then contact the forest preserve ditches. If you're in a forest preserve, archaeologists, contact someone and report it to them. That way, the information that's contained here is not going to be lost. So, what am I holding? I just found another one. This is a Chicago projectile point or knife, because at this secret location I'm at, I found many tools so far. This is the latest one. I wanted to explain a little bit more from the last video. Last video I found an arrowhead, an unfinished arrowhead. I did a little bit of research, contacted the archaeologist about that. It's important information. It is important information. So, initial examination and research suggests that it is an Anaeota cultural point. That means that we have some idea of the time frame and the actual people that produced the artifacts to this site. This one is interesting. I'm gonna probably stop this and turn my camera around so we can see the detail of this a little bit better. This one is interesting. It's larger than the last one I found here. Broken tip. More importantly, completely broken base. Looks like they had one final crack at it and then it broke it in half. And that's why they discarded it and left it here, because this is like a campsite chipping station. Not like, I haven't found any evidence anyway of a village site. If it was a village site, we'd probably find other things like, you know, shells, bones, maybe pottery if it's more recent, you know, things like that. But all I'm finding is stone tools, only evidence of tool manufacturing. So this is a bigger one. That's about 2 fingers width right there. But broken base. So how big was it originally? It could be any size up down here. So this could have been an attempt at making a knife, because it's a little bit, especially with the broken base, we know it was larger than this, that probably too big for an arrowhead. So maybe a knife. If it was really old, maybe part of a spear point, but this triangular pattern here is very similar to that triangular point that I found in my last video. That triangular point suggests that it's a Madison point, the earlier one that I found. If it's a Madison point, that means it's probably from the Anaeota people. Now that's just a name that archaeologists used to describe them. We don't know what they called themselves. But the cool thing about the Anaeota people, there's a lot of cool stuff about them actually. To give you a little introduction to them, I'm going to turn it back around so you can see my beautiful face. So the Anaeota people existed during the same time as the Cahokians. That's cool. And they continue to exist beyond the demise of Cahokia. I should explain what Cahokia is. In southern Illinois, there are pyramids, legit pyramids, hundreds of feet above the ground pyramids. They're like the step pyramids of Aztec, like Aztec Mexico, in terms of being as step pyramids. They're not made of stone, they're made of earth. Carefully arranged, piled up earth hundreds of feet high. They had temples on top, they had walls that surrounded the cities, and we're talking about an actual civilization. We're not talking about just a roving band of people chasing buffalo. We're talking about a civilization with cities and infrastructure. It's incredible to research and think about. These Anaota people lived further north. They were in northern Illinois, Wisconsin, to Iowa, and we have a pretty good idea of who their actual descendants are. A lot of the time, most of the time, when you find cultural groups archaeologically, it's very difficult to associate a modern day group with them to say this is the remains of your ancestors. In terms of the Anaota, it seems like they were a Siouan language speaking people who continued a lot of the practices of the Mississippian culture. There's some debate as to whether that was a pre-existing cultural traits or whether they changed some of their culture as a result of influence from the Cahokians further south. But regardless, they were the ones who made like the effigy mounds. Effigy mounds are these incredible earthworks in the shape of animals, spiritual symbols, even conical mounds, and they were usually involved in burial. They would bury the dead in these amazing structured mounds. Most of these mounds are gone. There are no mounds that I can see here. But if that Arrowhead truly was an Anaota point, then we can, make some assumptions, I guess. I really hope it turns out that way. Right now, the archaeologists are submitting that to some other experts to see what their opinion is on that particular find. I'm going to show them this one too that we just found. So that was pretty much all. I wanted to update you, and since I was here and I found a freaking new one, really cool, I wanted to give you an update. So yeah, the Anaota people, from around 1000 AD until like the 1600s, 1700s, they were here. Maybe a little before that, they started to move further west. They became what you know today as the Ho-Chunk people, the Ponca, the Missouri Indians, there's several others, but usually the Southern Plains Siouan-speaking tribes seem to have come from the Anaota culture. Upper Mississippians, these guys. Now, again, that's not confirmed completely yet. That's just an initial reaction and an initial research into it. So as that information comes forward, I will update you. But how cool is that? You got another one at the same location. All right. I love it here. I wish this was my job that I got paid for, but I don't, but I can still enjoy it. All right, bye-bye.